How about that? My mic was muted. I already made a mistake and I've already been on for like 1 second. Anyway, welcome. Welcome to whoever's joining me right now. I appreciate you. I put together my own little slides of my interpretation. Hi, Aquarius. Good evening. So I have a little bit of an interpretation that I think I put this together. Let me be honest with you, because I was watching other videos of this and everybody keeps saying the same thing. And I wanted to get other people's takes on this. So in the one document, well, we'll go over it together. Let's just go over it together. But pretty much somebody says screwed or something, or they think that she says screwed. I don't think that that's at all what's happening. I think she's saying scared. And we'll go over that when we get to it. So I think she means to say scared, not screwed. But I'm going to pull that up right now. I put a presentation together. All right, let's see. No, I don't want my whole screen. Hold on. Here we go, share. Okay. Okay, so let me see. Slideshow from current slide. All right, here we go. Okay, you guys, so I hope to see all of my friends in here. I'm going to put my YouTube on my phone so that I could see if anybody is messaging me or for whatever reason. Or at least that's what I think I'm doing, you guys. I never know what the frig I'm doing. I think I know what I'm doing. All right, so I'm one. I think I am one. I think I got this. All right, y'all. Oh, yeah, okay, so I could see what it looks like. But why isn't it big for you guys? Or maybe it is, and I just got on. So do you guys not see it the full screen? Because on my computer, it's a full screen. Let me see. Now I just exited full screen because I want to go over and see what you guys are saying. No, see, hold on, let me see. Let me do from current slide. And it's still not updating. Wait, let me see. No, that's the weirdest thing. I did this whole presentation. This bitch better work. Whatever. I'll figure it out. Yeah, I don't know why it's not full screen. I don't know how to fix that. What is happening, you guys? Okay, so why don't I just do it anyway? So this is what I could do. I could do this because I'm a nerd and I use PowerPoint all the time. So usually I can make this small. Oh, there you go. I can make that smaller because I don't really need, I don't need all of that. How come every time I go live, my dogs bark and they don't bark the rest of the time? Only when I go live. All right, so here we go. I'm just gonna do this. Whatever, let's just do this even though it's not full screen. I'll figure it out for next time how to make it full screen because that's annoying. I don't know if I can make it any bigger. I'm trying. Vivian, hey Viv, good to see you. Oh, Dr. Jamie, that makes me feel so good. Aunt Viv's on, everybody. Okay, so Aunt Viv, we're talking about the Kohberger case. I don't know if you know the case at all, but it's the Idaho 4 case, and they just released the 911 call, not the call, but the transcripts. And I keep hearing people go over the transcripts, and there's like stuff that I'm not getting the same interpretation as everybody else. So I just wanted to jump on. I was going to do this in a video type thing, which I still can do, but I figured why not just go live and see if anybody else has interpretations as well before I make a video so that we could see. Maybe if I do it this way. No, that just put me on the bottom right with absolutely nothing else. I was trying to see if I can make it bigger, you guys, but it's okay. I'm just going to go for it. Oh, look, I could do that. That makes it a little bit bigger. All right, we don't need to see me. All right, there we go. It's a little bit bigger. As long as you guys could hear me, I don't care if I can't see it all the way. PKC, just in time. We're about to go over my interpretation of What's going on here? Okay. All right. So let's start. So we're going to start by talking about the surviving roommates text messages, you guys. Okay. So I wrote some notes. I thought that I was going to be able to share this like full screen, and I'm not able to share it full screen. I'm not exactly sure why, but I will figure it out another time. This is about as big as I could get it right now. Maybe if I hide this, hold on. So that might make it better. All right, there we go. We're getting a little bit bigger. I really just wanted it full screen like the old fashioned way, but I have my notes on the bottom here. So I'm just going to go through my little presentation starting now. I say hi to everybody. I hope everybody is doing well. Thank you so much if you're joining me. This won't be a very long live. I just wanted to tape my PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so here we go. So around 4:22 a.m. on November 13, 2022, Dylan Mortensen texts Bethany Funke about seeing a masked intruder in her off-campus home. She expressed confusion and fear, stating that calls to her roommates went unanswered. Funke advised Mortensen to run to her room. These messages are going to provide insight into the immediate reaction of the survivors during the incident. Okay, so these are all coming from newly revealed or unsealed, rather, court documents. And just so everybody knows that you all have access to this, obviously, on the Idaho. Actually, I put references at the end, so that's how much I thought about this. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Okay, wait, maybe I should make it a little bit smaller so we can see it more. There we go. Okay, so the chilling text conversation provides the first insight into what was communicated between the two surviving roommates at the King Road residence on November 13, 2022, when Xana Kernodle, Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, and Ethan Chapin were M-word. I know. I'm always afraid that YouTube's going to like punish me if I say it. Before this, Mortensen had described to investigators that the masked intruder she encountered that night was, she estimated him to be at least 5'10", which she's 5'10". So I think she said something along the lines of he's at least as tall as me, if not taller. So I think that's where they get 5'10" or taller. Sometimes I hear people like say things about this, like, where did she come up with 5'10" from? And I'm like, she's a pretty tall woman, so maybe she's 5'10". And she was just saying I had to look up. So he was either as tall as me or taller. So that's my interpretation of that. Okay. He has an athletic build and the famous bushy eyebrows. I don't know if anybody noticed in the court pictures, like the court things that I'm looking at, is it me or is his eyebrows getting like thinner? Like as the days go on, I feel like his eyebrows just get thinner and thinner and thinner. But I'm like, he doesn't want to be the bushy eyebrow guy when trial comes. I get that. But he is. So I'm like, they're just going to show pictures of him from his arrest and stuff like that, or pictures from before that. And he has bushy eyebrows. I'm like, so I don't know what he thinks he's doing there. But anyway, recently unsealed court documents also included details on the 911 call made at 11:58, nearly 7 hours after the victims were fatally stabbed. So did you guys notice that I made Maddie's name pink because it's her favorite color? It's my favorite color too. And Ethan's the boy in blue. So there you go. There you go. And I put his name in red because he's like the devil in my head. I'm just kidding, you guys. This is just so everybody knows. I know Bryan Kohberger is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. So let me just put that out there before people start coming at me. I'm actually over people coming at me, you guys. It gets like old real quick and it gets easier to just ignore and just keep doing your thing. So I'm not even worried about it. Okay, so he has athletic build, which did you guys hear them saying? So I was rewatching. I really did my research for this. So I rewatched the one of the court or a couple of the court hearings, and the one lady describes Dylan, or describes that or says that Dylan describes the intruder as being skinny. She uses the word skinny a few times, and I'm like, to Bryan Kohberger, that probably was like heaven. That was like heaven to him. Because I don't know if anybody out there has ever had a weight issue, but if you do, you know, and especially in childhood, you know that you could lose 100 pounds and still feel like the fat kid inside type thing. So by describing him as skinny, it literally caught my attention. And I was like, he's probably like, yes. I don't think that he looks very great right now. So I don't know. But Dylan describes him as athletic build. So he's not very, I think she said that he wasn't very muscular or something. But I thought that was funny that they described him that way. And then again, the famous bushy eyebrows. All right. So here goes. The text messages are beginning at 4:19. So this slide right here is 4:19 a.m. to 4:21 a.m. Okay. So at 4:19, Dylan Mortensen attempts to contact all 4 roommates. Okay. So she calls all 4 roommates. She doesn't call Ethan at this time. She does eventually, but not at this time. Okay. Hi, Texas. I'm just looking down at my thing every now and then. Okay, so she calls the 4 roommates and nobody answers. So, and think about it, you guys. It's one thing to text all 4 roommates. She literally had to go through each one of their phone numbers. I mean, is there like a group call? I don't know. I'm old. Maybe there is. But I think the way that that it reads, it seems as though she calls each one of them. No one answers. So at first, she did not get a response from any of the roommates. However, Bethany Funke eventually responds at 4:22 a.m. So I don't know. Maybe she calls Bethany first because 4:19 and in the documents it says eventually in one of the things that I was reading. So 4:22 a.m. is when she wound up responding. Oh, I have to fix that up there. I put 4:19 to 4:21. It's really 4:22. I'll fix that after. But anyway, so Bethany eventually, or BF eventually responds, and I'm going to show you next what happens. Okay, so this is 4:22 to 4:24 a.m. So obviously you guys know the initials, so I don't have to tell everybody who the initials are. Hopefully everybody knows who they are. So a distressed and bewildered Mortensen informed Funke that she had attempted to call their other roommates, Xana Kernodle, 20, Kaylee Goncalves, 21, I believe, Madison Mogen, also 21, and did not receive any responses. This is what's in the court documents. So no one was answering. Mortensen text Funke. No one is answering. Sorry, no one is answering is what DM text BF at 4:22 a.m. Okay, so we're going to go through these texts. Next, we have Dylan texting Bethany. I'm really confused right now. So this is what we're going to see. So it like takes everything in my power to not see like red on there as far as the underlining, because that tells me that there's a grammar mistake. And as a teacher, I teach research methods. That's what I teach currently too. And that would drive me nuts. But anyway, so it took everything in my power not to want to fix that. But I didn't fix it. I left it the way it was because it's quotations and that's what you do. So I'm really confused right now is clearly what she's saying. And then DM to Kaylee. So first she texts Bethany twice. Again, I don't know if she calls Bethany and then texts Bethany and then texts Bethany again. And that like wakes Bethany up. So first she gets a phone call, then a text message, then another text message. And maybe that's what wakes her up and gets her calling. Okay. All right. So we have DM to Kaylee. She writes Kaylee. And then DM to Kaylee again. What's going on? When you see that I have 2 that are identical, like DM to BF right after one another, it's just because that's the way that it's written in the text message. So like when you text somebody and you'll write like Kaylee and then hit send and then hit what's going on and hit send. Oh, look, I'm missing a quotation here. That'll drive me nuts. Oh no, let me just fix that. There we go. All right. So BF finally responds to DM at 4:22. Yeah, dude, WTF, what the fuck? So BF then responds again and says Xana was wearing all black. Okay, so this is like, where does this come from? This doesn't make any sense. Like, yeah, dude, what the fuck? And then Xana's wearing all black. So clearly we have missing text here, right? And that's my opinion. Is that your opinion as well? I'm thinking that that is your opinion as well. Let me X out of that. Sorry about that. But I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. But I'm assuming that we have missing text right here. But we can't have too many missing texts because in the document it says from 4:22 to 4:24 a.m. So, but there has to be something here. You don't just say Xana's wearing all black. So I think Dylan must, and again, this is me just putting my own 2 cents in there. But in my opinion, Dylan must have said, like, do you hear all that noise or whatever she might have said? And Bethany says, yeah, dude, what the fuck? And then Dylan must have said, yeah, there's somebody in here wearing like all black or something. And BF probably tries to calm her down, like Xana was wearing all black, like, relax. At least that's my interpretation of this. I could be completely wrong when this all comes out, but this is my interpretation of this, that DM must have said something about seeing somebody in all black for BF to write back, Xana's wearing all black. Do you guys agree with that? And if not, please tell me why. Because I want to make sure that I'm on the same page as the people that are on the page with us. Okay, so let's keep going. All right, the text messages continued. So from 4:22 to 4:24, we are missing text here too, in my opinion. So we're just going to read them the way that they have them in the court documents. So from DM to BF says, I'm freaking out right now. DM to BF, no, it's like a ski mask almost. Okay, so now think about it. This is what makes me think that Dylan had to have said something about somebody wearing something in black for BF to say, no, Xana's wearing black tonight. Like, it's got to be Xana, pretty much is what I was getting from that. And Dylan's like, nah, like, you don't understand. That's how I'm taking this. Like, it's a ski mask almost, And then Bethany realizes at this point that she's serious. And again, we don't know where the missing texts are, but there has to be missing text in here. So Bethany says, shut the fuck up. Actually, so, think about it. So she writes, I can't believe this type thing, shut the fuck up, and then hit send, and then actually send. So now Bethany might be thinking about it. Do you guys remember they say that Bethany like looks out the window at some point? I don't know that we know that to be true or if that was just rumor or whatever the case may be, but what if that's why she looks out? So what if BM, because this is starting at 4:22. No, if it's starting at 4:22, you guys, I'm actually thinking about it right now and I'm doing the math. I feel like the thing about, someone tell me in chat, why do we think Bethany's seen a guy getting unchanged on the way up? Because I do remember this, but I can't remember if it was a court document or if it was like somebody close to the case type thing. So if anybody knows, please let me know, because that would help me out right now, because they don't start texting. So she doesn't respond until 4:22 to Dylan. And from what I believe, they have the car leaving at 4:20. So he would have already been gone for 2 minutes. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? So back to this. Dylan says, like, she says it again, like he had something. And again, you guys, think about this. Think about when you're texting and you're nervous or you're trying to say something and like your brain's going faster than your fingers can type. And we sometimes make mistakes in our typing. And again, this is where I'm going to, like, in a minute, say that I disagree with almost every single person, and other people that haven't disagreed just said, I don't know what she meant there, so I'm not going to, but I really think I know what she means. And I think you guys would agree too. But anyway, so like he had something over his forehead. So I don't think she means forehead. I think she meant he had something over his forehead and little around the mouth. So I'm assuming that she's talking about one of those ski masks. Oh, I know the real word for this. It's like a, Some Texas or somebody's going to know. Someone, what's it called again? There's like a real name to it. If truth comes, maybe she'll figure it out. I don't know. Oh, a boff and cloth or something like that. But anyway, it's a ski mask is what she pretty much was trying to say. Bethany then again says, shut the fuck up, actually. Or no, that was already before. Sorry. BF, I'm not kidding. I'm so freaked out. So again, she's making mistakes here too. And she writes, I'm not kidding. Oh, am so freaked out. So obviously she means I am so freaked out. So again, the reason I'm pointing this out is because RN right now, that's normal, right? So, or STFU, we all know what that means. But something like the word something here, she clearly wrote SOEM instead of SOME, TBINF, but we know that that means something, okay? So let's keep going because I think we're getting to this one. Yes, we are. Okay, so for 4:22 to 4:25 a.m., BF to DM. So am I. Okay, so she says, no, really, I'm freaking out right now. And now Bethany's starting to freak out too. And Bethany's like, no, I'm starting to freak out too. Like, so am I. So then DM says to Bethany, my phone is going to die. Fuck. Okay. Now, I think in the papers that I got, I should look because that's actually funny. I don't know if I added fuck, you guys, or if they wrote, because I don't think I would have added a word, but I could have. Hold on, let's see. Oh no, my phone's going to die. Fuck. Oh, okay. I was going to say, why would I write that? That's exactly what it says in the transcript. So I must have watched somebody else's show that kept that out because they didn't want to say it for whatever reason, or maybe they put something over it and I was just listening, so I didn't see it. But she does say, my phone's going to die. Fuck. And then BF responds, come to my room. And then she responds again, run, responds again, down here. And then DM writes to BF, here that this is where like the big controversy is. So we have some YouTubers that are like, I don't even know how somebody doesn't see this as I'm scared though. Do you guys not read that as I'm scared though? How many of you think that it's I'm screwed though? So I guess instead of doing a 1 or 2 type thing in the chat, just tell me, what did you think that says? Do you think that says I'm screwed though, or I'm scared though? I think it says I'm scared though, because she's saying, my phone's about to die. Fuck, like that's her lifeline right now. Without her phone, she has no other communication to the outside world. So Bethany's telling her, come to my room, which is downstairs, run down here. She's telling her, like, get down here now. And DM's like, yeah, like, that sounds great and all, but I'm scared. I'm scared though. So I would like to know what you guys think. I'm going to look down and see in a second. But you guys let me know. What do you think that says? Do you guys think, oh, does that say Frank? Is Frank in here somewhere? Frank, if you're in here, hi. And I haven't. Oh, Frank. How are you, Frank? I haven't heard from you in a long time. It's actually been me. I've had a lot going on in life. But anyway, I'm glad that you're here if you're still here. So Texas says, yes, you got folks still questioning these poor girls' actions. How damn pathetic people can be. 100%. I agree with you 100%, you guys. Think about it. That Pav guy or whatever, like I couldn't even watch his video. I try to watch opposing views because I don't ever want to get stuck in a mindset where I become part of like a groupthink. So I watch opposing views on everything, not just true crime, but everything, because I want to make my own critical decision about what's happening. Okay. So let's see. All right. So then Texas says it could be either it doesn't make a difference. I don't think. No, you're right. Yes, it does. Let me tell you why, Texas. Let me tell you why it makes a difference. So although to us, it doesn't make a difference because either way, we're not looking at it that way. For people that are pro-burgers or whatever, they're using these words. They're saying, I'm screwed though, so that they could say that gives some sort of like malicious intent on DM's on DM, like as if DM is saying like I'm screwed, like she was doing something shady. That's the only reason why I do think this counts. And that's the reason that I jumped on here too, because that I can't stop. Everybody's saying I'm screwed though. And I'm like, why isn't anybody reading this? I'm scared though. She's clearly scared. She tells her I'm freaking out. And then Bethany says, so am I. So Texas, I agree with you 100% that I don't think it matters in either way. But for any YouTuber out there that's saying I'm screwed though, and making this sound like DM, because Texas, you're right, how pathetic that people are saying stuff like this. So for anybody out there that's saying I'm screwed though, and then making it seem like DM is something to hide, shame on you. That's terrible. I have a child, college age. She's in her senior year, her final semester. So she's back home now and I'm thrilled about it. But she was living on her own for the past 3 years. And I couldn't imagine. It wasn't like, I know that I feel really old, but it wasn't really that long ago that I was in a dorm too. I remember being in the dorm and excuse me. And then I had my own, not my own, like I shared an apartment. So I did like the apartment thing too. Same thing with my daughter. The first year she did like a dorm type thing. The second year it was like apartments with other people from school. So I would hope, like I also hear people blaming her for not calling the cops right away. And you guys have to remember, her and Bethany were the new people in the house. So Kaylee and Maddie were about to graduate. So they were about to like move on and, you know, go live their lives and do their things by the end of the year. So I believe Kaylee's was in December and then Maddie was to graduate in May. Okay. But either way, it was their final year. So I'm assuming that if you're the freshman coming in, and correct me if I'm wrong, were they freshmen, you guys? I believe that they're both freshmen, or I know that was their first year at the house. So either way, they were newcomers to the group, or to the house rather. So I think that to just say, oh, I'm going to call the cops because I hear stuff, I don't know. I wouldn't have done that. I'm just being honest. My first thought would have never been to call the cops. I would have called my roommates. I'm also trying to think through the mind of a 20-year-old and not a 46-year-old who has, 26 more years experience. So try to remember back when you were 20 years old and imagine how scared she must have been. She literally opened her door, and from what we've heard, and we don't know if this to be true yet, but from what we've heard, she literally yells out the second time, shut the fuck up, because she's trying to sleep. Imagine, you guys, if he heard her, or you know what I mean? And then she could have, so imagine like now, she's hearing all these noises and it's not stopping. And then she looks out for the third time and sees this guy that she's never seen in her life. We know that she's seen enough to be able to say, how tall he was. She was able to tell us his build. She was able to tell us he was white. She was able to tell us he had bushy ass eyebrows. I don't think she said ass. I did. But he had bushy eyebrows, right? And I think they asked her, how did you know he was white? And she said, I don't know. I just know he's white. And again, I'm like, that was a stupid question. Like, what do you mean? She looked at him. So I don't know if the investigator was trying to ask about like eye color and she didn't recall. I don't know. I don't know where that was coming from, but I'm like, she said he was white. Just like write it down, take down everything she says. And I think I'm annoyed with this because when we get to the 911 call, I feel like they should have just let the kids talk, unless they do. And they just redacted so much of it that we don't hear it. Okay. So then BF says to DM, yeah, I know, but it's better than being alone. So she's telling her like, I know you're scared. Just come down here though. Just run down and we'll be together type thing. And that's exactly what we believe she does. And she goes down to the first floor where she stays with Bethany for the rest of the night, or at least that's what we all believe, right? So I don't know how far back to go, but I'm just going to read a couple of these. So she missed the accidentally hit with instead of a, it would have, yes. So yes, how many times, you guys, I text all the time, even in chat. How many times do we write something and we do a typo? And you're right, A is by the W and W is also by the E. I'm a typo queen. So am I. I'm the typo queen too. And then how many times does our phone change it? And like, there's so many times I have to write something with an asterisk because my phone changed the word when I went to like go to the next word. So there's like so many, different things for that. But then also I saw that Truth wrote something. You live in a house that parties a lot. Yes. You're in a house where you don't know everyone that comes in and out, visiting other roommates. Yes, that's what I was going to say. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you said that. So when I had roommates, I would come back to my room or my apartment, and there would always be people there, always, that I didn't know. So I'd always knew a lot of the people there, but it wasn't abnormal. And it wasn't abnormal for me to bring over people that my roommates didn't know. You know what I mean? And that I had to introduce them to. So think about it that way. Like, you're just going to call 911 because you see a guy in the house. Like, I don't think people are remembering that these are college age kids that are living in a house together, that they just had a party Saturday night, right? So like, I don't know. I think if anything, she might have thought maybe, that was one of Ethan's friends or something, or who knows what she thought. But I don't think she thought that there was a quadruple, homicide occurring while this was happening, or she would have called 911, I would hope. Okay. So it was easy to dismiss the stuff she heard, and nobody wants to be the house snitch. Oh God, nobody wants to be a snitch, period, right? Cops had already threatened $300 tickets the next time they were called out. Another great point, Truth. So again, and if you guys remember, I don't know if you remember, but one of those body cam footages, it's my opinion that Bethany answered the door, and they're like, does anybody live here? Like, can you, and she like has her hand behind her back. Do you guys remember what I'm talking about? And she's like, oh, I'll go get them. And she like closes the door. So she might have even thought like, oh my God, what if the cops come back here and they recognize me from, that wasn't that long before. That was only, a couple of weeks before this happened. So who knows what they could have thought? They might have thought, I have to be honest with you, as an academic, getting caught drinking or like doing drugs in college, I can't think of anything worse. Like, I know when the cops in the body cam videos are like, oh, you're going to get a $300 fine, and we do have to let the college know, or the university. And it's like, that can like ruin your entire future. Seriously, it can. And I don't think a lot of people take that into consideration. So that's even more of a reason why I might not call, because I don't have $300 to pay the fine. And two, what if somebody brought somebody home from the bar? Kaylee didn't have a boyfriend at the time. They were broken up. What if she met somebody that she wanted to have a one night stand? Like, who cares? Like, what if that's what she wanted to do? Like, so could you imagine calling and then finding out that like you called the cops on like somebody that your roommate was hooking up with? I don't know. I just think that it's ridiculous when people are blaming these girls. So the text messages continue. At 4:24 a.m., Dylan calls Ethan Chapin and gets no response. So I think this is important. So she winds up, she pretty much stops with the text messages by this point. We also remember that by this point, he's already left for about 4 minutes. So the house was, loud, or she knew things were happening for about, what did they think it was? About 12 minutes or 12 to 15 minutes. I think more like 12 minutes ish. And then all of a sudden everything just stops and it gets quiet. It was quiet enough that she felt comfortable enough to run out of her room and then down the steps. And to do that, you have to run through the hallway. I know it only takes a couple seconds, but had she really thought that there was like somebody that dangerous in there, right? I feel like she would have either stayed in her room and called 911. Love you, Jay. Have a good night. Okay. Sorry, my daughter's leaving. Thank you, baby. All right. So I just think we need to keep this stuff in mind, you guys. So at 4:27 a.m., DM calls Kaylee, but to no avail. At 4:28, she calls Xana with no answer. And Xana, I don't know why I just said Xana. Actually, I do. Somebody that I go to school with is Zainab, and she's one of my besties, and I'm in PowerPoint. So I think that was just my brain going there. But anyway, DM calls Xana with no answer. And then at 4:32, DM text, that should say text, not test. See again, you guys, I'm in teacher mode. Text Kaylee, please answer. So, this is like her last ditch effort. So there's almost 10 minutes of silence, right? So if we go back real quick, they tell her it had to be before 4:25, where she says, I'm scared though. And she says, okay, well, it's better than being alone. So I'm assuming this is around 4:25. And then, oh, so you guys, I didn't notice that till right now. So in the papers, I literally did exactly what the paper said. And it was just confusing to me, which is why I rewrote it, because I'm like, if I'm getting confused by this, so are other people. So look at this. So this says in the actual documents, it says 4:22 to 4:25 a.m. And then over here, we have 4:24. So I wonder if Dylan calls Ethan. You guys, could you imagine if she called Ethan and heard his phone ringing, but nobody's answering? Because at this point, there's no more, everything's done. He's gone. Everybody's unfortunately, not living anymore. So what if she calls Ethan at 4:24 from her bedroom? Because it says that she goes downstairs. This is at 4:25 a.m. So she's still in her room at 4:24. So she must have called Ethan from her bedroom. I was thinking before just now, I assumed that she runs downstairs and then her and, Bethany are trying to call to see what's going on, but I'm not right. So she calls Ethan from her room, you guys, and probably hears his phone and nobody's answering. So then she calls Kaylee at 4:27. I don't know if she goes downstairs yet. Could you imagine? Oh my God, how scary is that? So, all right, so let's keep going. All right, so the next morning, this is where I have questions to you guys. And again, I am not by any means, I think it's disrespectful to, accuse these kids of anything. My question to you is, so the next morning at 10:23, DM is awake because she texts Kaylee, please answer, right? And if you guys look, the night before at 4:32 a.m., she texts Kaylee, please answer, and it's spelled the exact same way. So I don't know if she just copy and pasted it again or if she just wrote it the same way again, but she writes the exact same text. And then she texts Maddie, are you up? And then texts Kaylee again, are you up? Question mark, question mark. So now you could tell she's probably getting like a little bit more anxious, right? So at 10:24 a.m. until 11:39 a.m., you guys, what do you guys think was happening? Because the next thing in the document says that 11:39 a.m., she texts her dad. And the text starts with BF. So I don't know if it starts with BF or Bethany, but in the document, it says BF. And then it like just kind of, you could see like a redacted part or like a blank spot. And then it goes to the next line. So what do you guys think they were doing from 10:24 to 10:39? And again, does it matter? No, not at all. But do you think they were just like laying in the bed talking or, like what was happening for over an hour? Do you guys know what I mean? And again, there is no criticism here. I'm not saying this from, a critical way, but if I was talking to my daughter and I was like, Jay, you're texting them at 10:23 and the cops don't get called till almost 12, right? So at 10:24, we know they're awake. I was under the assumption until I read this that they slept until like 11:50-ish type thing. And I was fine with that because they didn't go to bed till 4:30. So if you do 8 hours, that's 12:30, right? So to me, that wasn't like, oh, you're sleeping all day. Again, I put myself in their age range again. But you wake up at 10:24, does she fall back asleep? Like, what do you guys think happens? Do you think Bethany's up? Because this is another thing. This all looks like Dylan's text messages. Is this like, where's Dylan's, where's Bethany's stuff? Like, does Bethany text anybody the next day? Maybe not. I don't know, but it doesn't say anything like for any further about Bethany. So she winds up having this text conversation with her dad from 11:39 till it doesn't say. So it doesn't tell you when her and her dad stop texting. But then from 11:50 to 11:51, DM receives a text from Jay that says, bro. And another one, and 1 minute later gets another text. But in that next text, they don't tell you what Jay says. So who do you guys think Jay is? And again, they keep telling us when DMs sending text messages, this was somebody else texting in, bro. And then they go to text them again. They text her again a minute later. So she's calling at the time, EA. I can't think of the girl's name, but this is the girl that lives next door, right? And the one that they got the camera from. Am I correct about that? So if so, this was the girl next door who I believe was dating Ethan Chapin's best friend, Hunter, at the time. I don't know if they're still dating, but if I got that wrong, somebody please correct me, because that's not what I'm not trying to spread disinformation. So over here, you guys, now we go from 11:39 to 11:50, and that's not a lot of time, but it's still 11 minutes. So like, what's going on? So my interpretation of this, the only thing I could think of is because I don't know of anybody who's Jay. Now, there are like a bunch of Jacks and stuff like that. So I don't know, is this one of the Jacks and they put Jay, and they don't put a last name or anything. They just put Jay. However, I then thought about it, and does she have siblings maybe? Could this be a sibling that maybe when she, as she's texting her dad, or could this be somebody that her dad's like with at the moment, and she's texting back and forth with her dad saying like, Dad, I think we heard something and now nobody's answering and da. And, if I'm sitting here right now and that's happening and my best friend sitting next to me or my husband or me, I might be like, oh my gosh, you're never going to believe this. Gianna just said blah, 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 blah. And then he might text her and be like, yo, what's happening? So could that have been it? Because again, I see a lot of YouTubers trying to make this a conspiracy as well. So they're like, how does this Jay person know that something's going on? He clearly knows, or she clearly knows something's going on, because they text her 2 minutes in a row, bro, and then text her again. And the second text, they redacted. So we don't even know what Jay says. But again, my interpretation is nothing as sinister as that. It's just Jay is probably somebody that the dad spoke with or was speaking to, or maybe even, who knows, Bethany could have been talking to somebody else altogether. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? And somebody could have just said something then, and then the person, tries to check in with DM. So, and again, because there's only one initial J, I'm curious if this could be a family member, because why didn't they give J a last name? You know what I mean? And then, so DM calls EA before calling 911 at 11:58. So we know that at 11:58 they call. So I'm going to check real quick on here. Yes, $300 is so much money to a student and to me. You are absolutely right, PKC. I was just thinking about my daughter yesterday came to me and she was like nervous to tell me that she needs $300 for 2 tests at school. And I was like, cause I pay, do you guys know how much I pay in taxes to live where I live right now? And I'm only doing it so that my daughter's got a better education from where we were, a better education than I got, pretty much. Even though I did make it at the end to get my doctorate, that's not like the norm. And I don't know how I had the perseverance. Like, I had to be a little bit brain dead, I think, to think that I could make it this far. And I did. So sometimes, you just have to believe in yourself or think that you could do it to actually get it done. And that's exactly what I did. But with that being said, $300 is a lot of money. My daughter asked me for $300. And here, if she takes these 2 tests and she passes, 2 of her classes become college credit. I was like, do you know how mad I would have been if you didn't come to me for that $300? Like, oh my God, I would have died, you guys. Like, this kid's in honors and everything. And for $300, like, I'm like, do you not realize how much college costs? Like, 2 classes, that's like $150 a class. Like, I'll pay the $300. Go take your test so you could get college credit. You know what I mean? So again, $300 is a ton of money. So then we have Delby, welcome. Where are the texts about fines, snitching, cops remembering anyone, etc.? Oh, there isn't any. There isn't any. So then True says it's the body cam when Kaylee came out of the, yes, you're right. You know what, Truth, there is some. Thank you. Truth, I need to I don't know. You need to jump on this thing and help me, because I don't always see when people are writing stuff. And although it doesn't bother me one bit, I don't want it to bother my the people that are coming in here and blessing me with your presence. So please, if anybody's being disrespectful, can you guys just please ignore them? I'll figure out after tonight's live how to, better siphon through people that are here to start and stuff like that. And again, I don't know if that's what you were doing, but a new sub, Cindy, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, you guys, I am not monetized. So if you could like and subscribe, that's like money to me. That's $300 to me. And literally a lot of it is just, I really have worked a lot of my life on, learning, and I do have a knack for teaching, and it is what it is. Like I said last live, if I went outside right now and my tire's done, like I'm fucked, because I don't know how to, change a tire. I don't know how to do so many things. However, when it comes to teaching, I do have a knack for it. So, so I kind of want to reach as many people as I can. And the only way I could do that is if other people help me by subscribing and liking and getting it, out to other people. So again, for me, it's not about the monetization. I really just want to help as many people as I can. And in doing so on the side, I get to do true crime as well. If you guys ever explore my channel, you'll find like a whole nother section of like self-help stuff. I have things on there about anxiety. I have a lot of stuff about anxiety. So that's more like, so I have like a whole section of stuff that, I'm going to have to figure out how to separate as well. But that's really what my whole goal is to help people with psychological concepts. But I realize that you don't get as much traction in that type of realm as you do in true crime. And I happen to love true crime. So I just put the two things together, and that's why I'm doing my thing. I know there's a Huda London lady. Gosh, I can't. I don't know the lady, so I can't say nothing. But sometimes when I listen to her videos, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like she's not like sold. I don't know, because I haven't watched enough of it, but I feel like she's not sold on the fact that it's Kohberger. And again, you guys, for anybody out there watching this that doesn't think it's him, I'm at the point now, like there's YouTubers that are no longer like wanting to talk about this case because there's so much hate and stuff. I'm over that. Like I am more than ever. I feel as though, in my opinion, they 100% have the right guy, you guys, okay? And that's my opinion, and I'm allowed to have it, just like you're all allowed to have your opinion. So I am no longer scared to like say it. I think all of the things that have come out in the past few days have just validated the things I was saying. And as a matter of fact, you guys, I don't know if you guys know this, but this channel with all of you, because I am not a channel without you, we were all, and it was pretty much all these people I'm seeing in chat, we were talking about autism months ago. So I don't know if you guys know that, but when I was starting my live tonight and I was uploading my thumbnail, I clicked into like a file that I didn't see before. And when I clicked into that file, there were 3 videos, and all 3 videos had dealt with autism and the Kohberger case. So maybe I'll do like a video, like a shorter video where I lump some of that stuff in there, but I like to read what you guys write in the chat. So I want to make sure I include you in that. So, but if there's anybody ever out there where you're like, oh, please don't like put anything up there that I ever said, just let me know and I will respect your wishes. But again, if I make a video on a live and I post somebody's comment up, hopefully you're okay if I repurpose that. All right. So the 911 call made at 11:58 a.m. So according to the transcript of the call, the recently unsealed court documents included details of the 911 call made at 11:58 a.m., nearly 8 hours after the victims were fatally stabbed. This is how it starts. Ready? Hi, something's happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what. A woman at the scene told the dispatcher. One of our one of our roommates who's passed out and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up. Another woman relays to dispatch. So now we're only on the call for not even a minute, and we already have 2 different people. And again, I don't know. I think that these are both roommates. So again, because the one says we had something happen in our house, so that had to be one of the roommates, right? And then the other one says one of our roommates. Oh, could that have been the same person? It could have been. So the same person. Does it say another person? So wait, let me see what I wrote down here. We don't know. Let's see. So hi, something's happening. Something happened to our house. We don't know what. A woman at the scene told the dispatcher, according to the transcript of the call. I love how I just did that. One of the roommates who passed out, and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up. Another woman relayed to the dispatch. That I knew that there was a reason why I thought that these were both roommates. So it is in my opinion that this is both roommates, because it says right there, another woman relayed to dispatch. And I got all of this right from the court documents. Okay. So these are 2 separate women. The one talks about our roommates. The other one talks about our house. So this has to be Dylan and Bethany. And then, and they saw, okay, now we're with a third individual. And they saw some man in their house last night. One of the individuals added. So are we on speakerphone? Are we passing the phone around? I really don't know. And I don't know that we will know until we hear the actual 911 call during the trial. So let's see. All right. So I wrote, and again, I got all of this just from the transcript. So let's see. Okay. And they saw a man in their house last night. One of the individuals added, is she breathing? The dispatcher asked before receiving. Oh no, I went too far. Sorry. There we go. Before receiving the response, no. I think we have a homicide. A man at the scene stated to the dispatch. Now, let me ask you guys this. When I watch this on other people's channels, I thought that because they literally, like right after this, they say that the cops are there, or they ask about a defibrillator. And when one of the college students answers, the dispatch says something like, oh, is that the cops or whatever? And they say yes. And she says, all right, well, I'm going to let you go because they're there to help you now, which is so weird, right? Because isn't that what isn't that what Dylan heard? One of the times that she opened the door was, I'm here to help you. Oh, imagine how cringy that is. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So on December 30th, 2022, law enforcement arrested Bryan Christopher Kohberger, 30 years old, at his parents' home in Scranton, Pennsylvania. He was charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder, whatever, and 1 count of burglary. I don't know what I'm scared about. I'm not monetized. So what are they going to do? Take away my monetization? I'm not monetized. So let me repeat that. Law enforcement arrested Bryan Christopher Kohberger, 30 years old, at his parents' home in Scranton, Pennsylvania. He was charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of burglary. People often ask why burglary, and it's because he entered their home. So at 4 a.m. to 4:22 a.m., I'm kind of summarizing now, okay? So at 4 a.m. to 4:22 a.m., Dylan Mortensen hears noises and sees a masked intruder, but does not immediately call 911. And again, I think we talked through why, and I think it's okay. She texts BF expressing confusion and fear, okay? She hears crying from Xana Kernodle's room, and a male voice saying, it's okay, I'm going to help you. That was probably the most chilling to me of all of the things that I've heard. And the reason being is because that couldn't have been Ethan. So she heard a guy say, a male voice, so it either had to be Ethan or Bryan, right? And my thing is, all the other times she says, I thought I heard Kaylee, or I thought I heard, you know what I mean? So when you live with somebody long enough, or you hang out with somebody long enough, you pretty much know their voice, right? So I think she would have said, I heard Ethan say, it's okay, I'm going to help you. And that's not what she says. She says, she heard a male voice saying, it's okay, I'm going to help you. That makes me think, in my opinion, that that's Bryan Kohberger that says that to her. And if that's the case, and I really think that it is, you have to be, and again, I'm not diagnosing anybody. I have to watch because I do have a profession and a career and I do work 50 hours a week. So I'm not diagnosing anybody, but think about it. If you, whoever this person is, let's do this. Let me remove him so that nobody gets, butthurt. Whoever did this, if they said it's okay, I'm here to help you or I'm going to help you, think about how sociopathic you would have to be to say that to your victim, right? And at that point, Xana was already crying from what Dylan reports. So what if he already, we've talked about this before, what if he already thought that she was passed away? And then, like, we don't really know, you guys, who was first or second, or like, we don't know if he, saw Xana and Ethan first, or if he went up to see, Kaylee and Maddie. We're not really sure. And one thing that, and another reason I'm questioning that is because Ann Taylor says at court, she makes a big fuss about how she's trying to make it seem like Dylan doesn't know what she's talking about and that she's foggy and maybe on acid and stuff like that. Or at least that's the feeling that I got. I don't know if you guys got a different feeling, but that's the feeling I was getting from that. So for people that think that we're slandering Bryan Kohberger, what about everybody else slandering these poor kids, right? So whoever did this, to say I'm going to help you, we don't know. When Ann Taylor says that Dylan must be, foggy and she doesn't remember because she swears that she saw or heard a roommate run down the steps. And that can't be true because that roommate was found the next day in the bedroom deceased. What if he came through the sliding glass door, not realizing that Xana had a DoorDash, but in my opinion, I think that he ordered that DoorDash. I don't know why, but I've always thought that he ordered that DoorDash because Xana's dad said that they had food at like 1 a.m. They were eating pizza and watching movies. Why would you eat again at 4? But I guess people are hungry out there. Maybe I just don't eat every 3 hours. I don't know. Would you guys eat again after eating pizza at midnight or 1? Like, would you eat 3 hours later, DoorDash? Just a question. And again, I'm just, because I don't ever want to assume that I'm the norm. I don't always get hungry. So that, and I've told you guys before I had an eating disorder and it goes right back to that. So from abusing my body with my eating disorder for as many years as I did, I no longer get like hunger pains. I do once in a blue moon, but hardly ever. So maybe it's just me. So would somebody please answer this? If you ate pizza at 12 or 1 a.m, so and they did find a pizza box, would you order for 4 a.m.? My other question is, back when this happened, I did a little bit of research I did a lot of research, but I did a little bit of research into the DoorDash thing because I don't know why this whole time I just have this gut feeling that he set the DoorDash up so that he could have somebody show up at 4 a.m. so that if they saw a car leaving the scene, that the DoorDash car could get just as confused as his car might, right? I also thought that maybe if somebody said that they saw somebody entering or leaving the house, maybe that gives them a chance of them, describing DoorDash. DoorDash is where you don't, what's it called? Contactless, right? So with DoorDash, it's contactless. So if you think about it, again, I always try to put my hat on of the person that I'm trying to get in their head. And if I were Bryan Kohberger and I really thought of everything, I might have thought of making this DoorDash. And let me tell you why. When I did my research, what I found out was that you can order DoorDash, right, throughout the night, but you have to place an order by 2 a.m., okay, for it to arrive. And like you would have to put in there that you wanted to arrive at around 4 a.m. for it to work, like for that to work. So again, if anybody out there is a DoorDasher and you know anything about this, but I actually looked it up. So I believe I'm correct about that. So you would have to have put the order in by 2 a.m. You could then say, I wanted to show up at 4:30, 4, 5, whatever, but you have to have the order in by 2 a.m. Maybe that wasn't DoorDash. Maybe that was, no, I think it was DoorDash, but it might have been DoorDash in reference to if they got Jack in the Box. And why do I think, I know Truth or someone's going to yell at me for saying that right now. Truth, I'm just picking on you. I don't really know that. But I know somebody's going to be like, how do we know it was Jack in the Box or whatever? And we don't, right? But we do see the picture with the thing, and it's Justin Xana's name. And they say that just Xana is the one that received the DoorDash. So that was like a clue for me. And the Jack in the Box, there isn't one by them. The closest Jackson box to them is right by Bryan Kohberger, where he stayed. I don't know if you guys know that. So it was around where he stayed. And I'm sure the girls have gotten DoorDash from there before. I'm not saying that they haven't, but how convenient that he orders from a Jack in the Box from around where he stays. And now, and again, this is just speculation. I'm not saying any of that is real. I'm just saying I felt this from the very beginning. And again, why would I want to do that if I were him? So that I could have somebody else there at the scene at around that time, so that if there's video cameras that I missed that see the cars go in and out or people go in and out, that they might confuse it with the DoorDasher. And that gives me one more, like another little protection from getting caught if I were him. So I will not be surprised if we find out that he was the one that placed that DoorDash. And in my opinion, because Bethany is on the bottom floor, and again, this is just speculation, I would not be surprised if she heard, like, I know that DoorDash here, not everybody does it, but sometimes when my daughters get DoorDash, they knock. It's like knock, knock, zoom, zoom. I'm like, I go to answer the door and I'm like, where, like, who, like, what's happening? And then I look down, I'm like, oh, they got DoorDash, but I'm not used to that. So that's not where I first look. I usually, like, I'm looking up, like, where did the person go? So what if they knocked and Bethany answered it because she was still awake? And what if she, like, just opened it up because, or what if she didn't? What if the DoorDash was still out there in the morning? Who knows? But, I don't think we know, right? And if Xana did get the DoorDash, oh no, didn't they say Xana got the DoorDash? I take that back. They did say that Xana got the DoorDash, or at least they think she did. So maybe the bag was in the house to where they were able to say from the evidence that they were confident enough that she did receive the DoorDash at 4:00 in the morning. So either way, I think that it would not be uncommon for somebody that, whether it's Bryan or somebody else, for somebody in this mindset to set something up like this. Because you also have to remember, you guys, one of the things that I did not hear in the transcript, and again, maybe we just don't have the whole transcript and we're going to hear it, differently at the trial, but was anybody else shocked that we didn't hear nothing? We heard nothing about, like, oh my God, it's like a big bloody mess here. Or like, oh my God, like something terrible has happened. Like, everything on the 911 call is that their friend Xana wasn't waking up. So and didn't they say, was she on the floor or was she on the bed? I don't remember. If somebody could remind me, that would be great. But I think I remember that they think she was on the floor. So what if Bryan did something like, and I do remember this. I remember the coroner saying, or somebody saying that the coroner said that their faces were like untouched, her and Ethan. So you wouldn't have known, maybe just by looking at their faces, that anything had happened. So what if he, like, put covers up, like, to her neck, and people just opened the door and saw her on the floor, and maybe they didn't pull the cover down or something? Because that's my biggest thing. I'm like, how didn't they see anything in the room? And then where did that whole thing come from where they said that somebody was in front of the door or whatever, that they had to, like, they couldn't get into the door? Like, is that still, out there now, or does that change now because of this? Like, I just have so many questions that I had to come on here just to find out what everybody else was thinking. So let me just take a second break and look at this. Oh, I hope this person, oh no, okay, I think, are we good? Are we good? Truth, tell me if we're good in chat, like, if you can, because or PKC, somebody that's always here. Harlot Oscara, I love, that's a great name. Welcome. Welcome everybody. Yvonne, welcome. Delby, welcome. Truth, example, 1112, not 1122. Anyway, there are 3 unharmed roommates, DMBF and Austin Couch. What? Nuh-uh. That person wasn't staying there, were they? Since she said she lived next door to 1122. Oh, they did say live next door, but who's... I thought they were the only roommates. Am I wrong about that? I've always felt like the person ordered the DoorDash. Harlot Oscara thinks the same thing. You think I'm the first one to hear me? But I don't know. That's just my opinion. I don't know. But again, I'm just putting myself in their shoes to think, what would they be thinking at that time? Also from the autism thing, and I'm not going to do an autism thing tonight because I've already been live for a while. Let's let somebody else get a live in that wants, everybody that's in here to go to their lives too. I don't want to be like a live hogger. So I'll do it another night. But I want to go over the autism stuff again. So I want to revisit that stuff because I was definitely clearly onto something when I first started talking about the case, when I first started going live. And you can have autism. I know all about it, right? I have ADHD and I'm technically on the spectrum, but I think, and again, my daughters laugh when I say this, but I really think that it's my ADHD symptoms that get confused with autistic symptoms. Either way, I don't care what I have. I just know that I know right from wrong. Okay. I know that surveilling, and again, I want to get into those words again on another live, so I have to remind myself of that by saying it here. But I want to talk about the stalking thing. Both parties said that there was no stalking. I did say in one of my videos, that's fine. They both said, yeah, there was no stalking. But in my video, I also said that I have a feeling that they're talking about stalking in the legal sense. So not in the social sense. So I don't know about you, but if somebody was surveilling you, meaning that you don't know that you have somebody watching you, that would be more like surveillance and less like stalking. With stalking, I would assume, and again, please correct me if you disagree, but I would assume that with stalking, there's like terror behind that, right? Because the person often knows that they're being stalked. People did say that Kaylee thought that she was being stalked, but I thought that they said that they did follow-ups and they weren't able to put those two things together. So that's why I'm saying I maybe they weren't stalked, but in my opinion, they were surveilled, or they had some sort of surveillance. I also want to throw out there, just in case when we get to the next one, because I'm going to write all these things down, I want to talk about why I think he got why I don't think he got the job at the police department. I think after I read that email back and forth with Chief Fry, and I read there was another document I was able to read, and I don't know exactly, but it had something. It was like a real document. And the way I read it, you guys, literally, this is not what it says at all, but this is what I heard. Dear police department, you live in middle America. And again, you live somewhere where people don't have internet or something. I don't know, because he made it sound like he wanted to come there so that he can teach the cops how to do data surveillance, data forensics and stuff, which is fabulous, right? But if you guys go and you find this, maybe I'll find it for the next live so we can read it together. When you read this, it literally sounds like he's saying, I know more about, cloud data than you do, which isn't true, right? Just because he's going for his doctorate, and maybe, who knows, maybe he's specialized in his master's. So maybe in his master's, he has some sort of, my master's is in counseling psychology, but I have a 12 credit specialization. So I did an extra year. I'm just a glutton for punishment. So I have a 60 credit master's, but I have a specialization in marriage and family therapy. And then I have an additional 60 credit doctorate in education, and I did another specialization in higher education. So, I don't know. Anyway, whether he's autistic or not, that is not okay. He knows better. So even if he does get a clinical diagnosis of autistic, I would be offended, or I would be offended for everybody out there that's autistic if they said that he was different and therefore, different in such a way, mentally ill, that he couldn't stand trial. He could stand trial, but not for the ultimate penalty, right? And I think that's bullshit. I think that's complete bullshit. Bullshit. Jeff, where's Jeff's thing? Bullshit. That's the button I need right now. So, and I think that it's offensive to anybody out there with autism. I also think, just for anybody out there, just so you know, approximately 50% of adults will be diagnosed with a mental disorder at some point of their lives. Not all disorders stay for your whole life. So I suffered from depression at one point in my life, but I don't have depression anymore. So I had an eating disorder. I don't anymore, right? I actually haven't had an eating disorder longer than I had one at this point. So I don't identify with that other person like I did for a long time, right? So there are plenty of disorders that people could get diagnosed with that they get through and come out on the other side. So I think when people think of mental illness, I think that they automatically think of like a dysfunction of some sort, as to where the person is incapable of the same thing that somebody that doesn't have a mental illness is. Like, that's just ridiculous to me. And it's ridiculous. And just so you guys know the statistically, you are more likely, if you have a mental illness, to become a victim of a crime than you are to be a perpetrator. So let me say that again. If you or anybody you know has a mental illness of any sort, right, you are more likely to be a victim of a violent crime than you are to be a perpetrator of one. Okay. So keep that in mind. So even if Bryan Kohberger does have autism, I don't think that that's a mitigating factor for his sentence, right? Just like if he has a personality disorder, that's not a mitigating factor. We don't say that like the most sadistic serial killers shouldn't get the ultimate penalty because they have antisocial personality disorder and sadism and stuff. Like, we don't do that. So, why are we like doing that now? But again, I already said I'm not going to do that. Why did I do this? Let me shut up. Let me get back to here so I could close this up. At 11:58, they call 911. 911 calls place from inside the house at 1122 King Road using one of the surviving roommates' phones. A female caller reports, "Hi, we already did this. We already did that. I'm sorry." At 12 to 12:02, the dispatcher repeatedly asks if the person is breathing. The caller confirms no. A male voice on the line states, "I think we have a homicide." So there's actually more to that, believe it or not, that I just was like, if I don't go live now, I'm never going to go live, or my family's going to like need me for stuff and I'm never going to get to go live. My next slide, I believe, is just so you guys know. So law enforcement arrives on the scene between 12 and 12:02. Officers discover the 4 victims deceased in their bedrooms. And then 12:15 to 12:30, the scene is secured and the police, and the police confirm the situation as a homicide investigation. So by 12:30, they know what's happening. The trial schedule and venue is set for August 11th, 2025 in Boise, Idaho. Jury selection is set for July 30th, which I confused. I thought something big was like happening on my birthday, June 27th, but I think that was in the Stephen Stearns case. I'm going to have to look that up. I put down here some links, but over here, you guys, these are all of my references. If you go to any of these, you can find everything that I put today in. So did I say some things that are maybe, speculation? Sure. But everything in my PowerPoint slide is backed up by other reputable journalists and things of that nature. And even Idaho.gov and the documents there. But one of the things, before I end this, that I didn't say is that when they called, they actually say, they ask for the location more than once, and they say at first Kings Road instead of King Road. So I think that the reason the operator asks for the address again a second time is because maybe they put Kings Road in and it doesn't come up. So she's like, wait, like, what, can you repeat that again? And then the second time they say the address, 1122 King Road, because they wanted verification. And what's the phone number? And they give the phone number. And here they don't give the rest of it. So she says, what's the rest? And they give the rest. And then, okay, and tell me exactly what's going on. And that's when we have about the roommate passed out. Oh, and then it says, no, we saw. Okay, I wish she didn't interrupt so much. And then it says, oh, they saw. So first it was, oh, we saw. Then, oh, they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. And then somebody else comes on, hi. And are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone. Stop passing the phone around. This is the dispatch, right? So then somebody answers, can I just tell you what happened pretty much? And the dispatch said, what's going on currently? Is someone passed out right now? And then the other person says, I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m., ... I think there's a whole bunch from ... to the next line that is not in here yet. Then they say, okay, I need to know what's going on right now. If someone's passed out, can you find that out? There's only a couple more lines, but I didn't write them all down, so I just want to make sure I read them. Yeah, I'll come. Come on. We got to go check, but we have to. Is she passed out? She's passed out. What's wrong? So this makes me think that this isn't both roommates, that one of the roommates is the person that's on the phone with dispatch is talking to. So I think the person on the phone doesn't really know what's happening yet, because again, they say, yeah, I'll come. Come on. So somebody might have said, well, will you come with me? Whether it was Dylan or Bethany. Yeah, I'll come. Come on. We got to go check. And the person might have said, but I don't want to, or like, no, like there's no reason to, like, and they say, no, but we have to. Is she passed out? She's passed out. What's wrong? So you could say that, the person's getting more emotional, even though you don't know that, but you could tell by the wording. And then dispatch says, dispatching Moscow Law Ambulance 4. And then the person says, she's not waking up. And then they say, an unconscious 1122 King Road. 70 is en route. Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started, okay? And then they say, okay, maybe. And then it's unintelligible. And then I copy. And then unintelligible again. And then it says multiple RPs. Assuming that means respondents. Multiple RPs on the phone advised saying the roommate on scene is passed out and not waking up. Believes she got drunk last night, and unintelligible about a male being in the room with them. And then the dispatch other person says being around, and they say that one I copy about 20-year-old female unconscious trying to get further copy. Yeah, it's Evan. Okay. And how old is she? She's 20. 20, you said? Yes, 20. Here, do you want to talk to him? Okay. Hello. Okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've already talked to 4 different people. Okay, sorry. They just gave me the phone. Is she breathing? Hello? Is she breathing? No. Okay. And then it's unintelligible en route. And then Bethany or Dylan says, and it says this in the documents, I need you to talk to them, okay? I can't talk to them. I need you to talk to them. Okay, hello? Okay, I have already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line, okay? If there's a defibrillator available, send someone to get it right now and tell me when you have it. Units responding, RPs advising. And then unintelligible. The patient's not conscious, not breathing. So that's dispatch. Unintelligible. Yeah, I'll come. Oh, wait. I almost went back to the wrong one. This is the end, you guys. We're at the end. Okay, if there's a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it. We don't have one. And then the dispatch, unconscious, not breathing. And then they answered, do you have a defibrillator? So I guess whoever's on the phone with dispatch is asking the roommates, do you have a defibrillator? Yep. Yes, we have one. And then dispatch, but are you talking to the officer? And then they say yes. And then dispatch says, okay, I'm going to let you go since he's there with you and can help you. Okay, thank you. Bye. Okay, Moscow 46 out. Copy. 13, I think we have a homicide. Moscow engine 20 is en route. 1370 unintelligible. 107, I relate it. And then it says this transcript has been reviewed with the audio recording submitted, and it is an accurate transcription. Okay. So, and again, I got that right off of the documents from Idaho. So I'm going to stop sharing this real quick so I could come back and see you guys for a second before I hang up. I don't even know if anybody's still in here. Is there anybody in here? Oh, wait, where? Oh, here I am. Hold on. How do I get back? I had my camera off that whole time. Are you kidding me? I had no idea. All right, here I go. So let me just see real quick. I want to definitely hang up because I feel so bad that there's other people that are probably trying to go live, and I don't want to be a live hog. So, oh, truth. We're going to have to talk about that. Okay, so then Digital Maniac, thank you for joining. I just can't understand how no one could tell that Ethan and Z. Yes, yes, yes. Digital Maniac, I agree. So that was my whole thing. Like, where was the only thing I could think, you guys, the only thing I could think is that whoever did this covered them up, because I do remember them saying that their faces were like clear. So like you couldn't tell anything was wrong if you looked at their faces. So what if he put like covers on them and the blood went out this way, as opposed to like went into the bed or into the floor or down the side of the building, but not necessarily in a puddle on the floor. But again, I don't even know how that's possible. I don't know. So let's see. Hunter might have been trying to protect them by not letting the girls know what he actually saw. Could you imagine? That's sad, you guys. Or maybe just say it. I don't know. Oh, okay. I see the rest of the stuff. I think HJ was the only one to see inside the room. Okay, PKC, thank you for that. Maybe on the stairs or by the door. Oh, he might have relayed it. I got you. All right. Let's see. All right. So you guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate all of you. I never forget who's in here with me. And I promise you that, you know, if you guys ever need me for anything, just reach out to me. I don't forget people that are there for me. I will be there for you too. Hopefully we can have a nice little group of people that come together with as least, I mean, I know that we can't totally, you know, knock out people that are going to hate and stuff, but hopefully we could just learn to ignore people that come in when they do, or maybe I can get a mod eventually if I actually need one. I don't really have that many people here yet, but eventually I'm going to need somebody to help moderate for me. So if anybody's interested, holler at me. It's been a good one, Texas. It's been a good one, everybody. You guys have a great weekend, and I hope you all join me for... You deleted my comments. Oh, you're funny, Truth. That means that I don't want to see them, I'm assuming. Thank you for that. But Monday night, Dr. Schultz and I are going to do the Stephen Stearns thing again. And there's new stuff that just came out with that. So I appreciate you all, and I hope I see you all Monday night at 7:30 Eastern. Mwah. Good night, you guys. Thank you so much for coming.